Today I'm going to review The Second Life of Mirielle West by Amanda Skenandore. Now this book is about a leper colony. Now when I saw that I kind of went, gee, that sounds like a pretty depressing subject matter, and I really wasn't sure whether it was going to be the kind of book that I would enjoy or not. But it had such good reviews, and so I thought, well, you know, I'll give it a go. And I'm really glad I did, because it's just incredibly well written. The prose is fabulous. It's so delightful for me to read a book that is so brilliantly written in terms of the prose. But also, the plot is incredible. I mean, I would never have thought that you could make the story of somebody going to a leper colony interesting. But it is. It's incredibly interesting. Mirielle West is married to an actor. She lives in Hollywood, and she's a society lady. So she's used to top class things. And suddenly she finds herself shipped off to a leper colony way down south. And the story of her getting there is how the book opens. And it's really very, very gripping. In fact, the whole story is kind of one of those that you just really do want to keep reading, which is really a credit to the author's skill. So what the author's done here is she's researched the Carvel lepers' home near New Orleans and based this story on what she's found out about the place. Now it's set in the 20s, the late 20s, and of course the attitudes of society to lepers are pretty awful. It's a disease that's really misunderstood, and it's not nearly as catching as people think it is. So as we read the story, we learn about leprosy at the same time as learning about the society of the times, the way people think, and particularly how this woman goes from being someone who drinks a lot and goes to a lot of parties to someone who works in a hospital and changes bandages for people who are lepers. And the plot is that she wants to get home. She wants to get back to her children. She's got 2 young children. And that's her whole aim. And of course, her aim is thwarted by the fact that she's a leper and she's not legally allowed to run around the country. She has to be put into a facility like this. It's got a big fence around it with razor wire on top, so they are really incarcerated. The lepers have to have a test every month to see whether they still have the disease. And if they get 12 negative results, they can go home. So that is what Mirielle is aiming for. And she's hanging out for that. And that is what drives the story for a large part of the book. And then when she doesn't get to the 12, when her 11th one is positive, there's just a total breakdown. And then she goes through this amazing transition, and I won't say more about it because I don't want to blow the story, but her personal transition that she goes through and the way the relationships that she has with the other lepers contributes to that is just so incredibly well done. And the book just builds to this incredible climax. At the end, the Mississippi River is in flood, and a young girl in the colony that Mirielle has been looking after is in a really bad way, and I could not put it down. And I'm going, this is amazing. I can't believe that I'm, racing to get to the end to see what happens in this book, which is about a leper colony. But there you are. That's what a skillful author will do. And it's not a dismal book, not at all. The relationships between the people within the colony are delightful, and romance blossomed, even as she comes to the realization that she's never going to be back the way things were with her husband. The stigma of having a leper in the family is just too much. So anyway, she comes to many personal realizations, and a major one, as I said, near the end. She also hangs out for a cure. when she first gets there, it's like, all right, I'm going to help the nurses find a cure, you know, and I'm going to get cured, and I'm going to get out of here. And then gradually we realize that this is really a terrible disease, and, you know, this is a cure is a long way away. And they try one new cure, and I won't tell you whether it works or not. But the epilogue is 20 years down the track, and I won't give away the ending. You'll have to read it for yourself. But for me, this is definitely a 5-star book. If you're an author looking for a really quality book that you could analyse and examine to give you an idea of what makes a really good book, this is one that you should read. So that's it for today. And read The Second Life of Mirielle West, a haunting historical novel perfect for book clubs. And it is. So congratulations to the author for such a great book. So that's it. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get notifications for my next review. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoy the book. Bye.